What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving into some more Black Ops 7 Zombies. The beta gave us a solid look at how this game is shaping up, but there's been a lot of features that were mentioned that, well, just were not there. Now we are strictly talking about the features that were directly mentioned in blog posts that just did not make it into the beta build. So today we're going to break down every one of those features that was promised but missing, why they might not have shown up, and what that could mean for launch. We're also going to go over what did make it into the beta, because honestly there were some huge wins there as well. So we're going to kick it right off with recycling Gobblegums for essence. So Treyarch specifically said in the blog post that you would be able to take unused Gobblegums, you could crush them and turn them into essence, which is a pretty cool system that would let you keep your inventory from filling up with useless Gobblegum. So imagine you have a bunch of Gobblegums that you never use. Instead of just letting them sit there, you trade them in for essence that you can put towards your upgrades in the game. That would have added an entire new layer to the economy and zombies, but in the beta, well, nothing. There was no menu option, no prompt, no hint that this feature even exists. This could still be planned for the full release, but I do find this one a bit odd considering it was specifically listed in the blog. Maybe they just wanted to make the values of the different rarity of Gobblegums to be kept secret for the launch. Maybe they didn't want you crushing all those free Gobblegums that they gave you. Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know why this one didn't make it into the beta, but it was not there. Now, this next one that we're going to be talking about could be something that is hidden behind augments, which obviously we did not get here inside of the beta, but the new overheal mechanic that was teased in the blog post, which did say that it was tied to specific augments, but also as well as equipment. And I do believe stim shots were specifically mentioned in that blog post, and the stims were definitely not giving you any sort of overheal mechanic. But again, that could be tied to a specific augment. We are not 100% sure on that. Of course, we did not get any augments whatsoever in the beta, but there was absolutely no sign of the overheal mechanic. There were no mention of it at all, no UI elements, no visible overheal effect whatsoever. It could have been really awesome to experiment with that in the higher rounds, especially when you were going for that round 50 calling card, but it just wasn't there. It did not make it into the beta. Now, this next one is kind of a combo of something that did make it in, but also something that didn't make it in, and actually just kind of raises a few more questions for me. So in the blog post, they specifically mentioned that the ammo caches were both taking on a new look and a new scaling cost. So we did get that new look to the ammo caches in the game, but the scaling and the cost of the ammunition as you pack a punch your weapon is the same as it was in Black Ops 6 Zombies, which does make a lot of sense. But again, that blog post did specifically mention that there was new scaling cost with the ammunition. So definitely something that's going to raise a few more questions than answers there. But if it is going to be something that is going to be made in the full game or the full map, we are just going to have to wait and see. So either there is a new scaling system or there isn't a new scaling system, and it was just very poorly worded in the blog post, but I guess we will find out when the full release gets here. So the next feature that was completely MIA from the beta was the Disciple Injection score streak. We do know that this is coming. This has been advertised in the blog post, but in the beta, yeah, it just wasn't there. We weren't able to play around with it and get a feel for how that Disciple Injection is going to work in game. It is most likely just tied to a higher progression than we were able to obtain inside a game, as we were only able to go to round 30 in the beta, and you're probably going to be higher than round 30 to unlock that Disciple Injection. But either way, it wasn't there. It would have been cool to play around with in the beta, but I guess we'll just have to see it when the full release gets here. All right, next up is the iconic bus driver from the transit mask, T.E.D.D. So T.E.D. tasks are coming to Black Ops 7. This is a returning feature from Black Ops 6 that was previously known as SAM Trials, but it was completely missing here from the beta. Now, this does offer a couple of questions. Either A, they did not want to give us these T.E.D. tasks during the beta, or simply T.E.D. tasks are just not a part of the survival gameplay. So it's going to be one or the other. Honestly, we're just simply not going to know from launch, but it is something that we knew was coming to the game that was not here in the beta. All right, next up is a change to the power-ups that was mentioned in the blog post that just was not active in the beta. So basically it said that any Gobblegum that summons a power-up, and they give a few examples here, like the Killjoy, the On the House, hidden powers, which hidden powers were always automatic, but these Gobblegums will now automatically activate the power-up that they summon, which will allow you to not have to go and pick them up, right? So you don't pop the Gobblegum, then it spawns the power-up and you got to circle back and get it. It would just automatically put on the power-up, where that just was not active in the beta. So hopefully that is something that is there and ready for the full game when it launches and releases. All right, and then we got a big one here, which is the augments for the perks, the ammo mods, field upgrades. Obviously in the beta, we had absolutely no access to any augments whatsoever in the game. And quite honestly, and I talked about this in a previous video, it was one of the biggest L's of this beta, because there wasn't a whole lot that Treyarch can learn from the beta as to what they need to adjust as far as weapons and things are concerned, because none of us had access to the augments, which are completely game changing. It's what the game is balanced around in general. I think giving us at least the Black Ops 6 augments that we've already unlocked would have probably been the best move. They just opted to give us no augments whatsoever. So that is a big chunk of the game that we simply do not get a feel for of how it's going to work in Black Ops 7, because we simply did not have access to it. It's awesome having the zombies here in the beta, but zombies, at least these current versions of zombies in Black Ops 6, Black Ops 7, without the augments, is a completely different experience than it is with the augments. So I guess we'll have to wait until release day. Another major change that was advertised to be coming to Black Ops 7 that was not here in the beta is the increased salvage cost to upgrade your weapon rarity. So in the blog post that they did advertise for Black Ops 7 to go to uncommon or green rarity, it's going to cost you 1,000 salvage. That is up from the original 500 salvage from Black Ops 6. To go to rare rarity or blue rarity, it's going to be 1,500 salvage. That is up from 1,000 salvage. Then to go to epic or purple rarity, it's going to cost 2,000 salvage. That is down from 2,500. And legendary or orange rarity is still going to be 5,000 salvage, which is the same as BO6. Overall, it's going to be 500 more salvage to upgrade all the way until legendary. But we did not see that system implemented here in the BO7 beta. This could be for one of two reasons. It could be the survival maps might be using like the legacy cost here for the weapon rarity upgrades, or they just simply wasn't ready for the main game yet, or maybe they even changed their mind. Hell, I don't know. Again, we gotta wait until release. We'll find out then. And one of the final major features here that was advertised but was not released here in the beta is one that actually has the community kind of up in arms. A lot of the classic players, the people that have been playing zombies for years, are not a fan of the HUD in the game. But we are supposed to be getting customized HUDs that are going to be coming to the full release of the game. We did not have access to any of those customized HUDs here in the BO7 beta. I think it would have been nice if they would have gave a little taste of what some of these customized HUDs could be. It would help settle down the fan base just a little bit, make them feel a little bit more comfortable with the fact that they're going to be able to change their HUD and how things look and how things appear in game. So maybe just a little taste would have been good, Treyarch, but you know, ultimately it wasn't there. We're gonna have to wait for the full game for that. Now, to be fair here, not everything was missing from this beta. Treyarch did deliver on a lot of the promises and the changes that they said that they were going to make. One of those was the reduced salvage drops, and you can definitely tell when you are playing Black Ops 7 and you're playing this beta, you are getting a lot less salvage than normal. The suppressors are not giving you as much salvage, so those are, I think, overall going to be some positive changes, make that early game just a little bit more difficult. They made the changes to the Rampage Inducer. I love the way the new Rampage Inducer feels. It gives you that opportunity to speed up the game a little bit, especially in the early game, and just progress a little bit faster in the game without it being completely overly punishing. So there are no super sprinters until at least round 20 with the Rampage Inducer on, where in BO6 I think they come in like round 5 or something like that. It starts to get overwhelming pretty quickly in BO6, but in BO7 it does feel a lot better and a lot smoother. You get a lot shorter time between rounds. The zombies are moving faster, but it is much more balanced, and I love how it feels. The critical hits for the melee weapons is amazing. You now get 150 points if you get a critical hit with your melee, so just aim high with your melee weapons, and that is going to really help the early game economy. I love that change. The auto revive at the end of the rounds if you're down, if you're playing with partners. Now when you turn the round, it just automatically revives that player. I absolutely love that. The new random perk power up drop is there. It was in game, it was there for the beta. Now granted, it didn't pop up very often, but it was there, and I love that the commonality was not, you know, a ton. I think in playing to round 50, you might have seen one, maybe two free random perk drops in the game. So that's probably pretty well balanced overall. Now the wall buys again are now supplying ammo at a reduced cost if you bought that weapon off of the wall. One issue I kind of see with it is the cost savings. I don't think personally for me are worth it. It's only 500 less salvage to then buy that ammo off of the wall. Now once you're playing the full map, if the weapon you bought off the walls on the other side of the map, are you really going to want to travel over there just to save 500 essence? Treyarch, I think if you made it half cost, I think that would really incentivize people to use the wall buys and to go back to those wall buys to buy their ammo. I think half cost is the answer. I'm a firm believer in that. So go ahead, buff that, take that from 500 salvage, take that down to half, please, please, please. Ether tools now being in the mystery box. This entire time in the beta, I have seen other people post videos that are finding these ether tools everywhere. I have spun the box just over 200 times as I go back and look at my footage, and I have never once gotten an ether tool out of the mystery box. Could just be my poor luck, or just maybe they're really pretty uncommon, but I'd like to see them be a little bit more common. If you want to incentivize people to continue to spin that box, make those ether tools just a little bit more common. I think that would go a long way. Max ammo now refills your lethal and your tacticals. This is a nice touch, Treyarch. I love it. I love it. You got the monkey bombs, which you can put into Chompy for like 1,000 salvage, which is great. I don't know if Chompy's going to be in the full map. Maybe Chompy is just a survival thing. Maybe it's just a survival thing on this particular map. Honestly, I have no idea what the role Chompy is going to play in the game. But I love the fact that my lethals and my tacticals are now refilled with max ammo. That is a really nice change. We have been given more frequent power up, so we're getting more than one power up drop per round. And I've noticed that there has been a lot more frequent power up drops, especially when playing in a squad, and I really do enjoy that. Your perks in your ammo mods, the ones that like Charm, like Brain Rot, or the new Wisp T, they don't kill that last zombie in the round, and this is confirmed. This is working, and it's doing its job here in the BO7 beta, so I absolutely love that. We got all of the new Gobblegums that they promised us. They gave us some of those for free, which is awesome. Thank you very much. Been enjoying using those Gobblegums. I have yet to get the new tier 3 vest one, so I haven't got to save on my armor buy yet, but I absolutely love it. Lastly, I love the change as well to the special zombies. I don't even think you see a Doppelgast in this map until round 40, which I think is a phenomenal change. I love just not being spammed with special enemies. I think that is fantastic. The super sprinters are coming later in the game. It feels like you can stretch the game a little bit further than you can with BO6, which I think is going to help a ton when you're doing the main quests and whatnot here in BO7. So I'm looking forward to getting more playtime with the way they have balanced the enemies out in the game. So yeah, the Black Ops 7 Zombies beta has given us a ton to be excited about, but there's still a lot of features that we have yet to see. So hopefully all of those do end up making it to the full release. Hopefully everything's balanced. Hopefully everything's working pretty well. But I love that they are experimenting with a lot of new systems for this year, even though it does feel very much like a carryover from BO6, just an expansion on BO6. In a lot of ways, it does feel like that, but in a lot of ways, it does feel like its own new and unique game. So I can't wait to get my hands on the full game. If I missed anything that was talked about in the blog post that wasn't in this video, please make sure you let me know down in the comments below, and I really would appreciate a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Cole Whip, and I'm out.